All right, everybody, welcome to the Confession Post podcast. And the purpose of the podcast is to take entries written at confessionpost.com where people they confess to highly personal matters in an anonymous way, and people give feedback. And normally, people do it through the message boards at confessionpost.com, but we're doing it here, excuse me, as a podcast. So my name is Morgan Rector, and this is my co-host.
Vaughn Dark.
All right, and I think, did you go first last week?
I can't remember, but you should just go first. Or if you want, I can go first. It doesn't matter.
I guess I'll go first. So we're hearing the word trans a lot lately, and now here's another concept, and a lot of people seem to really be very resistant to this, but this state of transcendence, if you will, applies to race. So this person goes, I wish I was Latina. Latinos in general are the epitome of attractive, from the way they look, to the way they speak, to the way they carry themselves. I also really love their culture. The food, the music, the festivals, it's also lively. I also love how family-oriented they are. So I'm wondering if being the state of being transracial is a thing, because I've
Well,
known
yeah, kind of, I guess.
because I've known white people who seem to want to be black. I've known
Oh, man.
black people who kind of related more to white people, and there are people of other races who seem to identify more with people of a race that is not their own. There seems to be quite a bit of that.
I'm kind of the same way. I'm in the same boat. I mean, I just like all things. Like, I'm very open. Culture is like meant to be enjoyed and like appreciated and things like that, right? Like, um, and it's the one beautiful thing that, like, as human beings, that we all kind of bring our own thing to the table, and it should be like enjoyed and stuff. And I mean, I get like kind of hating the skin you're in, but like it's kind of funny. Like you go back in your roots, and it's like there's a lot of white on white crime that goes
Yeah.
goes on. Yeah, like my it's like it could be like very well, you know, part of the English blood that's in me. It could be due to prima nocta. Who knows? You know,
Yeah.
like, but I mean, like that's just to like give like nobody is really like 100% like, you know, like one thing. And I mean, culture is like it's totally a thing. Like it's like a thing that needs to be enjoyed. You know, it's
Well,
the
I mean,
reason why it gets put out there.
there's been a lot of talk about cultural appropriation, but I think
Yeah,
I think
I
most
mean,
of the time it's a benign thing. I don't think it's ever. I mean,
I,
first of all, everything that you own or have eaten or ever done has its roots back to an ancient culture in some cases.
yeah.
So we don't even know half the time how much cultural appropriation we're engaging in. And also, it's usually tributary. I don't know if that's the right word, tributary, but it's in tribute half the time, where people are just they're enjoying another culture. They're not doing it to make fun of anybody or to encourage others to ridicule it or to condemn it. I mean, it does get into that offensive territory if someone's
Oh yeah, I mean, but
wear like children, like people wearing, like, dressing up like Indian chiefs for Halloween. That part of it's offensive, but
yeah, there's some things like there like you have to be doing it respectfully. You know, like Halloween's not necessarily like the time to be doing that. And like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like if you have those roots in you, like sure you can totally celebrate it, but you have to be like you have to tread really carefully when it comes to that sort of thing. Like I love headdresses. I like admire like native culture. I love it myself, and that's why I have it. But I don't know, like as a white person, and I'm not the white person that like did anything to them. But you know, like, am I allowed to still have that? I don't know. I love it though. Like it's like something that means something to me. I've always like had like a lot of my closest friends, people in my family, like shit like that. Like you know, I've had a lot of like close native ties, and yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's a lot of weird ground. You know, like as someone who appreciates it, you still don't know how to like do it right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the best way to approach it in that circumstance is just to watch, just take it all in, and eventually maybe you get invited to
Like
participate in some way, you know?
yeah, today I shared like on my Facebook, I shared this thing. It was like this guy was getting married to a Hawaiian girl, and they did the haka. All the like groomsmen and stuff and people like they like did it. Even like some of the bridesmaids like joined in. It was actually really cool, and like that shit. Like I love it. Like it's whatever our roots are. It should be appreciated. And honestly, we all have roots somewhere, and it all go back. It goes back to that time. Like whether it's like druids, like Wiccans, like fucking who else? The
Like
Mongolian shit, what's the Mongolian guy?
Genghis
Genghis
Khan,
Khan. Genghis Khan, because like a lot of
father
people are descendants of him,
father of half the world, yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we all have roots, right? And we
There
all
was a
have
lot of
those
migration.
kind of roots.
Yeah, there was a lot of migration for thousands of years, so
Oh man, and like if you want to go back, like there's some crazy shit.
oh,
Like
yeah.
I have always been interested in that kind of thing. It's like fucking, it's beyond genealogy. It's
Yeah,
like,
I'm into evolutionary psychology myself. I find that
yeah, I love human minds myself too. Like I love it and like evolutionary shit. Did you know you could get like Charles Darwin's like book Darwinism whatever that like there's I guess a couple you could get them for free
yeah, you could
on
get
an app.
them online like as PDFs or something, yeah.
Well, no, like just on an app. I had them on my phone. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like reading that shit on my phone. It was great. And then there was like this fucking old ass like it was the Art of War like from
Sun
uh,
Tzu, yeah.
well no, it wasn't that one. It
Oh,
was like later one. I think
I
it was
read,
like 1800s, something
yeah,
like
I
that.
read Origin of Species, which was
Yeah, I
not
think that's the
not
one
ex-
I had.
it wasn't exactly a page turner because essentially it's a science
No,
book, but there was some interesting stuff there.
yeah.
But then I bought another book that was specifically about evolutionary psychology, and it's just interesting because very few of our behaviors are new.
I
We,
eat
you
that
know,
shit up. I love it.
I am, I kind of obsesses me, colors a lot of my thinking.
Yeah, man. Like I like the human brain is super fascinating. It is.
Yeah,
And like evolutionary stuff like throughout all the species, all that stuff like gives you like sort of keys to things and like I like like more ancient stuff too, like the druids and whatnot. Like um they have like little like monuments and shit everywhere. I think there was one in Windsor.
was Stonehenge there the work of druids?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But there's like lots of many other Stonehenges if you go over there. Because like when I lived in Germany for a couple of years, and like we went over to the UK and just like checked out a bunch of little spots. Like there's like lots of hidden. This is back when we had maps, like actual physical maps.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
There
England.
was no GPS,
Oh
but
no.
now it's a whole lot easier to find because there's GPS.
Yeah, England has an interesting history beyond, Victoria and all that Christian repressive phase of their history. When you go back beyond that, there's some really interesting shit for sure.
Oh
Uh,
man.
it's and
And
even
there's all kinds of castles and shit over there. Like,
totally.
Like you, like a lot of these. Well, when I was over there, you could touch a lot of the stuff. So I was just like always touching the walls. I'm like, so many people touch this. Like not just like in the recent, little bit. I usually try to touch places that I think other people didn't touch. So it's like you're closer to the ancients. I was like fucking like I don't know, like 11. I was a nerd
Yeah,
back then.
and I want to visit a desert before I die. I
Oh
want to be
man,
out,
me too.
and I want to be out in the middle of it, which is probably not the safest thing to do. But
Arizona would be pretty sweet.
well, I love the idea of being out in the middle of like an almost empty, desolate landscape.
Yeah.
And I want to go to the Bolivian salt flats. You know about those?
Yeah, I've heard of those. They're really, it's like it stretches a long way, but it's
Yeah,
like they're white as hell. Like
yeah. When it rains, it reflects the sky, and it looks like
what?
heaven on earth or something like that. It's
That
really
is so cool.
yeah. You
I
feel
want
like
to go to there's a place, well, tell me that about that in a second, but there's a place like there's actually a couple places where it's like a bunch of like glass, like it's like a glass beach and it's like really colorful.
I think I did
Like
about that. Yeah.
it's like rolled, like it's been rolled over time. Like you're not allowed to take any too. And I'm like,
Oh
fuck, I
yeah.
would take like a couple for sure. But
We'll have to go
anyway,
then.
yeah, this fucking the salt flats.
Yeah. So when it rains, it looks like you're walking on clouds because the ground's reflecting the clouds. It's just this amazing visual.
Right. Yeah,
Incredible.
no, that'd be sick. And it'd look like it'd be going on forever too. It'd just be
Yeah.
like infinite and infinite. Infinite is the word.
It's kind of
I was
embarrassing.
like, I almost got all Buzz Lightyear and was like, to infinity and beyond.
Well, yeah, it does kind of look that way. Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of embarrassing actually to realize how old I was when I figured out that the reason the ocean looks blue from a distance is because it's reflecting the sky.
Yeah, and you know what's fucking like the ocean? I love the ocean, but it scares the fuck out of me, man. Deep ass ocean scares me, man.
Oh
Like
yeah,
all of that, like Mariana's Trench bullshit, like all of that, like the deepest parts. I'm like, no, 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 no. Those are like that's where fucking crazy shit lives.
well, no, Scotia has sharks too. I think
Oh yeah, we from time to time. Yeah.
great whites maybe. I don't know if they live
Like
there,
you
but
kind of see a few things and like a lot of whales, like actually there's a few whales.
yeah,
Um, in Newfoundland, there'd be more, like you'd see more seals, but you'd still see a lot of whales.
yeah. And I want to go to Sable Island someday too. That's
Oh man, I need to see those horses. I made like, this is like the Sable Island horses ended up being a good acid joke, man.
yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, man, let's just like honestly just drop acid and go to Sable Island and see if we can hang out with the horses.
But you never know, that could backfire on you. Maybe the horses would
No,
you're monstrous or something.
yeah, they'd be like, okay, you're weird.
Yeah, you're
You're
not.
being weird.
You'll be banned from Sable Island.
Yeah, via the horses. The horses be like, no, no, not anymore. We let you guys here, but that was the last straw.
Well, the thing with Sable Island is they say you actually have to make some kind of provisions to stay there a couple of days because the weather around that area is so uh what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, it's unstable, very changeable.
Unstable on Sable Island.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, you know how Nova Scotia is, right? There's
Oh,
the wind
dude.
changes. The wind changes by the weather changes by the fucking hour,
Man,
right? You know.
yeah, okay, so like I'm gonna tell you about the past 2 weeks. It's been plus like weather and then minus weather. Plus weather, minus weather. And then we got a storm and then it melted. And then we're getting a storm this weekend.
Yeah, it's been like that here too.
It's icy a little bit around here too.
Well, it's amusing here to see people react the way they do, knowing how it is down there. You
Like, yo, like, man, okay, so first of all, it's like crappy all over Canada around this time of year. You honestly cannot win. Like, I lived basically from one coast to the other, and like this area, it's good, but like we get a lot more bullshit. BC is probably by far the mildest weather you'll get during the winter if you live in Canada. BC is really good. But everywhere else is total bullshit.
especially Winnipeg. Winnipeg's supposed to be really hard.
I've never lived in Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, like any of those middle places. Okay, so it's like BC, Alberta, and then Ontario. And I've stayed in Quebec a couple times, like kind of around that. Like I guess partially spring, winter. I don't know, whatever. It was fine then. But then, a shit ton of my life here. And I mean, a fair amount in fucking Edmonton. And Edmonton is like legit, is like, that's the coldest you'll ever get. And there's snow on the ground for too long, way too long. And then here, it's just like it flash bangs you. Like you'll be doing good, and then all of a sudden you got snow, and then they're saying that there's a storm, and it could be bad, but it might not be bad. So you don't know what you're in for, really.
Yeah. Or what I spent Christmas of 2007 in Calgary, well near Calgary, with relatives, and I noticed that at 8 o'clock in the morning it's still dark. Like they have less sun
Here?
there. No, in Alberta.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, what time of year was that?
Yeah, Christmas time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They have legit, like, that is a winter. Like, that's like what, like, fucking, it's almost like what, it's like it's like Northwest Territories kind of just like poop down into it, like
Yeah.
that's like
Either
the
up.
only place where it's like super ice rinky and like there's always snow for like a long time and you need to like put a fucking parka on and shit.
Oh yeah, like I was waiting for a train and it was torture. It was
It's bad.
like you feel it in your
Your
bones.
face hurts. Like your
Yeah.
face hurts.
I kept like going inside this building just to get some relief from it, and this guy's
Yeah,
like,
and then it
"I
hurts
help
to
you."
breathe.
Yeah, and this
Because
guy,
you're breathing in this cold ass air, and you're like,
yeah, it's hard there.
Mhm.
Coming back around to the subject of cultural appropriation.
Right.
Yeah, I think the people who get bent out of shape over it when it's not done in as a means to ridicule, like we mentioned the Halloween costumes and stuff. I think a lot of people who get upset about it are just oversensitive, politically correct types. Like I saw this video on online where it was taken in a university, and a white guy had dreadlocks, and this black girl,
Oh man, the
did you see
dreadlock thing. Yep.
she wanted to cut his fucking hair off, and
No,
she's saying, "Oh, because
not
it's my
cool.
culture," which isn't really technically. That's, I
No.
mean, it's linked to the Rastafarian culture, but
It
there's,
is, but
you
like also Vikings and shit like that.
yeah,
Everybody did it. Like honestly, like till anyone owned a comb, it's like legit.
yeah,
Every single
yeah.
person's fair game. Like you can't deny that fact. Like if you did not own a comb and like legit, when did we invent the comb?
God, over centuries ago.
we should look that up because literally like till that shit was invented, people had dreads. So like fight me on it.
Well, apparently, shampoo was not commonly used until like late in the 20th century. I don't know. I guess people just put water in their hair, but yeah,
Oh
shampoo.
yeah, but I mean like you can like run your fingers through things like that, but like I mean that's shit like and I mean when did we invent shampoo? Like nobody knew how to really clean their hair till like soap was invented, right? Like
Bathing
so
didn't
it'd be
become a
soap and combs
yeah,
together.
hand soap probably. But yeah, bathing didn't even become a regular practice until the 20th century.
Because I mean, literally,
And
like there was coming, like there's fucking Neanderthals out there. You can't tell me cavemen didn't have fucking dreads.
well, of course they did.
Yeah.
They're homeless
So like
people with
beat
dreads.
that one too.
Well, if you don't wash your hair and it's getting curled up in knots and shit, yeah, you're gonna have dreadlocks. Only
Seriously.
most people have dreadlocks now. Take care of them, they clean them. But
Oh man, and you know what? You can get like sick fucking dread extensions. That's
yeah,
the
that
best part. You
yeah,
can
my
stick
ex
them
had that.
in. Yeah, stick them in, get them done properly, and it's like you fucking have like, wicked dreads and like I mean, you gotta kind of wash them and maintain them, and it's easier when they're out of your fucking head, because like you can actually wash them properly. Like
Yeah,
you stick them in like a good washer safe bag, and you could probably just throw them in the washer with like some things.
yeah, my ex had those and made hairstyles according to
Oh man, yeah, like some of the synthetic stuff, like you could probably like that shit might last a bit longer, but like if it's like human hair, it'd get gross.
yeah. Okay,
All
you
right.
know.
It's probably my turn, right?
Yeah.
Or wait, should we talk a little bit more about this? Like,
Well, we got about 20 minutes out of the last one. We got
oh
18.
yeah, yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
we're getting better at this, where it's just
Yeah.
like we just chatting. Okay, so I'm gonna start with like hot for boss.
All right.
My name is Amber, and I'm 27-year-old married mama of two. I love my husband, but I can't help fantasize about my soda fox of a boss, Chris. I want him to call me to his office, and fuck my fat ass over his desk. I want him to be my daddy so damn bad. Confession over.
Mm. Well, I think in this day and age, she would have to be the one to initiate it, but
Oh yeah, definitely. Because like
because
you
me too.
can't
Yeah.
just you
Yeah. I mean,
can't.
you can't even really flirt with anyone in the office
Oh hell
anymore.
no! Without like something happening, it's like
So yeah, if well, as a lady, I think you're gonna have to just go in there and uh, I don't know, strip halfway and see how he reacts or something.
I was actually kind of just thinking about that. Like just oh my god, no. Hang on.
Like wear some
Um,
kind of dress that you could like just pull off really easily.
I mean that too, but like also the dynamic between like males and females, right? Like where like it's cool to have that like what is it the law like some
Law of
that
attraction, whatever.
yeah the law of attraction rule like fucking Sharon Stone that shit, right?
Yeah.
Like a female like is different than a guy, which is unfair.
Well, you mean like how they're attracted to power, or
Um, well, no, I mean they seduced people,
women?
or she did. She like the law of attraction thing, not law of attraction thing. It was like, fuck, what's that? I'm gonna look it up. I'll look up the movie. I never fucking seen it. The Sharon Stone movie where like it's Michael Douglas and her.
Basic Instinct.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm
And,
so.
and then there's one with Demi Moore called Disclosure, where
Oh
she.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that one was like very similar too.
Well, that one's a fantasy film because she says to him as his boss, "Let me blow you or you're fired," which is not going to happen ever. So I think Michael
Wow.
Douglas was in that one too, though.
Interesting.
They wanted to turn the tables on that scenario, not realizing how unlikely it is to happen. So it's interesting because in the show Oz, there's a female corrections officer who makes I don't know, I can't remember if she forces them to, but she has sex with a bunch of the inmates, and that was an interesting part of the plot.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the what? Which one?
Yeah, that was Oz, the prison
Oh,
show.
Oz. Yeah. Yeah.
it does happen in real life. Like the
And
inmate who had sex with like 4 different female corrections officers and got them pregnant. So that happened. So I guess they like the bad.
yo, spreading that seed, like you can't. Like I was franchising. He was
Well, yeah,
franchising.
if you're into bad boys, they don't get badder than in prison. Doing life. So.
Yeah, no, I mean everybody. One of my friends like always shares this GIF. Some people call them GIFs, but it's a GIF. Anyway, it's from Mob Wives, right? And it's this lady. She's like, all the good men are in jail, right? So, and it kind of is true sometimes.
Well, I guess so. But
Oh
they're
my
just gonna.
God. One of my clients, and I love her to fucking pieces. She met her baby daddy being a pen pal.
Oh yeah, for the prison pen pal.
Yeah, and he was really cool, and then he ended up just poof out of nowhere, just passing away.
Well,
Anyway,
I thought about having a prison pen pal like for human monsters because I'm fascinated by
you know
Czech.
what? Me too. I thought about writing to them, and I was like, maybe I don't have enough time to devote to that. I'm not sure.
Well, there's that, and also I don't want him looking me up when he gets out. So I
I'd
don't.
have to use code shit,
Yeah, because
you know?
I remember somebody saying like if you're in jail, you might make friends there, but don't tell them where you are when you're being released because they might hit you up for like a place to stay or something.
Yeah,
Because you don't
yeah.
want those guys around, right? So.
You don't want somebody knocking at your door, literally.
Well, yeah,
Because,
because
that could happen. They'd be like, you can't turn me away. I'm
especially
right here.
especially if they did favors for you on the inside, like protected you or whatever, you
Well,
can't.
yeah, I mean, if you went to jail, yeah. But I mean, if you, were just a pen pal,
Yeah.
then, I mean, at least it's just you're your friend, but you still don't fucking tell them. Because, once they get out, they'll be like, help me out, bro.
Yeah, and also as far as women goes, I mean, that's a guy who's gonna have a hard time getting a job, so that's gonna be a downside as well, unless he goes back into crime, which he might.
True. True.
Yeah. As far as the silver foxes goes, um, well, Bill Clinton is an example of where that can go.
Hmm.
This young, I mean, I felt sorry for Monica Lewinsky because basically she became known globally for being a slut. Like, can you imagine the humiliation? I mean, some women don't mind so much, but I don't think that's something she wanted. And just the overall scandal of it all, and
Oh man, I remember when that all came out.
and he never,
I did not
I,
have oral sex with that woman. It's
yeah,
nah.
I don't think he was ever
Or no, she
contrite
did
about it.
not perform oral
Oh,
sex
I
on
did
me.
not
I don't
have,
even know how
I
that
did
fucking
not have sex.
didn't matter, really, because he was lying out his butthole.
He never felt contrite about it either. He never apologized to her or anyone else. I don't think
No, and
he should.
apparently, he smoked fucking. I heard he smoked cigars that, basically been, fucking, probably, probed up in her. You
Yeah,
know
he
what I
used
mean?
yes, one of those tubes as a dildo. Yeah,
No, he probably did it tubeless, man.
and he
You
pulled it.
gotta, take that fucking cigar out and, I'm telling you, like, as I'm not a,
He did that. He pulled it out, and he said, "Taste."
I am pretty sure he definitely pulled that fucking cigar out of the tube and was like, let's fucking, cause then you can stick it in there a little bit, have some fun, a little bit. You can't soak the thing, but once you clip the fucking tip, you can still probably smoke it. If you just kind of give it a good
Yeah,
white, whatever.
it was
He's
just
kinky, I'm sure he is. He's he fucking glazed it.
he sucked on it. He said, "Tastes good." So he did that. So he had a kid.
America.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, she should have. Well, I guess on her side, I mean, she should have known better too. I mean, it's the fucking president of the United States, and it's not like the possibility of getting caught wasn't a factor. So, I mean, she was young though, so I guess you got
Yeah, I
to.
mean, she's just like, woo, we're having fun. Like, honestly, girl, like, you're in the White House. Like,
Yeah,
have that fun. Who's gonna, like, honestly, like, that's a story. That's a
yeah,
big fucking story. Guess what I did?
yeah.
Are you shitting me? No, I shit you not. I did this.
Even after all these
Look,
years.
there's a stain.
Yeah, on the infamous blue dress. Yeah. And then the other thing about having sex with guys that age is that they tend to be married and they will not leave their wife. That's pretty rare when they do, unless they get caught. But, uh, but yeah, that's pretty rare. They usually don't leave their wives, so that's another thing.
No. Well, I mean, they're all stick by them. Like,
Yeah,
okay, wasn't there that guy like he did like a fucking the Wiener dude? Like his last name was Wiener, wasn't it?
Anthony
Like
Weiner. Yeah,
Anthony Wiener. He had like a Wiener shots.
yeah. But his wiener where is wasn't supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and he like had to publicly apologize. They all have to publicly apologize. It's like, like you don't like. I feel like we're beyond this now. And
I
it's just
don't care.
wasting airtime.
I don't care
Like
if
if it,
some famous dude cheats, like Tiger Woods.
I don't give a shit if their
Yeah.
pictures get leaked. I'm like, good for them. They got a sex life. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that they're human. Because, like, they kind of seem like robots most of the time.
Well,
So cool.
it's probably a bad idea for famous rich men to get married because there are a lot of women who want to sleep with them, and it's hard for men to turn down that temptation. So, like Tiger Woods, the most famous
I'll do
golfer
your
alive.
cat box. I heard you say something about. Sorry. I can do it.
So,
I'm
so,
helping my dad out so we can continue this podcast.
oh, okay.
That was also on recording, but that's cool. It's
Cat box.
wholesome content.
Oh, cat box duties are overdue. Is that what's that?
No, like dad usually comes in and like does the cat box in here, and I gotta do my cat box anyway, so I'll just do both the cat boxes, and
Oh, okay.
we're all good. They
Yeah.
got 2 cats. I got 1 cat, and my cat and one of their cats are best friends.
Does she get along with the other one?
Well, not so much the gray one, but the gray one kind of hates everyone. Like she's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of well, not hates everyone. She just like I don't know. She's weird.
You ever wake
She's
up?
old and weird.
You ever wake up in the middle of the night to the sound of cats fighting or anything?
No, definitely not. Usually the gray cat just tries to come in and uses the cat box in my room, like sneakily. I don't know why, but she does that sometimes. And then, I mean, she'll sit on me from time to time because I'm usually the only person around. She's like, "Oh, you're a warm lap." Doesn't give a fuck about who you are, I don't think anymore.
Where I used to live, there were like raccoon fights sometimes at night, and they can be surprisingly loud. They make this very weird squawking sound, and
Oh man, we only have like 1 raccoon out here. I seen 1. That's it.
they abound. Toronto abounds with raccoons. That's for sure.
Same with Montreal. There's like a place like there's like sort of like a lookout. You can go to this. I don't know exactly where it is, but like you can kind of see most of the city, and it's a bit of a hill, but it's a raccoon gathering, and they're like actually all really friendly,
Mm.
and
So you
they'll
can
eat
just
out your
walk.
hands and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
One
one
of my
One thing that always made me uncomfortable about Nova Scotia was the rats. Like, we don't have such a big
Oh,
rat.
we got rats. We
Uh,
got rats. We got like mice.
yeah. Well, my mother told me a story when she was in her 20s. She and friends, like, they were out drinking or whatever, and at one point they decided to go to this dump, and the person who was driving the car, they flicked the headlights on and off a couple of times. Then they sat in the dark, and then they turned the lights on a minute later. They said like the dump was alive with rats. It was just like,
Oh, gross.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like rats are rats are pretty disgusting. I'm more of a bird person myself, and we got like actually we got some pretty friendly birds. I fed them like out of my hands and shit out here. So
the
not
Europe,
out here, but like in town.
yeah. Well, the Europeans probably brought the rats to Nova Scotia.
Man, there's rats, like, and they're pretty big too. But I mean, it's because we got like we're like a wharf town, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got that going for us. Like everywhere has rats.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we got like mice in most of our houses too, like which is a different thing. It's like you get rats downtown, and they're usually in like most of the places like past like I would say like there's like a public gardens area and that like that's far enough from the waterfront where like it starts to kind of change, but there's still rats. But once you get into like residential areas, you find more mice.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw a picture from the sewer system in London, England. This guy had a rat the size of a beaver. It was fucking terrifying. Fucking nightmare. 'Cause
yeah,
if those things bite you, they got fucking diseases in them and shit. Worse than COVID.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
babies.
COVID, like that's like, I wasn't it like what is it, the Black Plague or the bubonic plague or something like that. That's how the like the rats apparently like did that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they can fuck us up real bad.
Oh man, animals can just like, okay, let's talk about the history of some of our weird shit for 1 second, because we got rats responsible for the bubonic plague. Somebody ate a bat for COVID. AIDS, AIDS was a monkey. So what else we got?
Gotta be real careful about the animals we eat.
What in the
Uh,
shit? Like what are we doing to animals? Like
well, I guess it's like poor countries where people are so desperate they'll eat almost anything. Apparently,
whoa.
apparently the armadillo can give you leprosy.
What?
Yeah. I don't know if it's from
Who's
eating it or just
eating
touching it.
armadillo?
Well,
Armadillo.
well, they eat possum down there, so I guess
I guess, but I wouldn't
they'll
want to. No, I would not eat a possum. I like my
uh,
little trash rats.
or squirrels. Yeah.
They're fucking cute.
Which
Um,
are they in Nova Scotia? Or
no, I don't think so. I have not seen one. Like, I've seen like okay, out here where I live, I've seen a raccoon or yeah, a raccoon once, and I seen a fucking fox once, but that was like 2, 3 years. That was a while ago. That was a long time ago. I haven't seen a fox in a long time. And I mean, we got deer and pheasants that the deer's once a month. The pheasants are like maybe once every 2 weeks, something like that. You
oh
know,
yeah.
like you. It's hard to fucking gauge these animals because they're animals. They have no fucking. Doesn't matter. They'll just see you when they see you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They don't give a shit. They don't have a fucking watch.
No.
Oh, it's like it's been about 2 weeks. Maybe I should go back to that place where they had like food out on their lawn. It was pretty
Well,
good.
this is like hunting season is off right now, right?
Oh man, and like apparently there's like this warning out like out in Truro. Fucking there's a deer problem. There's a huge deer problem.
The deer
But
prop
it's not around here though. That's the thing. Like
too
we
many
got
deer.
We got 2 deer that come on this property. Just two. Just two. That's it. And I like see them once a month. That's it. They're not a problem. They really aren't. But like apparently in Truro, they're like everywhere, I guess.
Wow.
So now they like have this like people can use bows to go kill them.
Well, I've had deer meat
Bow
before,
and arrow shit.
but it's all right. Have you
Yeah, I like some, mom was just telling me today, she's like, I want some wild meat. I'm like, ooh, you know what?
had venison?
Yeah.
I've had rabbit too. Rabbit was
Rabbit's really good.
yeah.
Some moose meat from fucking Newfoundland, Labrador. They make the best fucking moose meat. Like they jar it up.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, it's so good. You just eat it right from the jar.
Well,
So
you catch 'em.
tasty.
Did you see the movie Into the Wild?
Into the wild.
Yeah, it's about a guy who decided to go. It's a true story. Went and lived in the wild in Alaska, and just decided to live off the land. Didn't want to be part of mainstream society anymore. But it backfired because though he did bring a book along with him that was provided a guide to like natural.
It didn't give him everything right.
Yeah, he ate something poisonous that killed him. So, and he was also
Oh no, so he died.
yeah, and he just wasn't completely prepared, so that he wasn't able to get medical attention because
No, you need to know. Okay, so like I love this because there's this show, and this is like one of my favorite shows to watch. I watched a few seasons of it. It's called Alone.
Mhm.
And basically these are like trained like survivors. They can live off the land and whatever. Right? They're trained. Like pretty like they're well versed. Otherwise they wouldn't make it on the show, and they also have like a good tap out. Like they have a way out, right?
Yeah.
Which is good. At least somebody like people can get saved if they need it. So like the few seasons that I seen, there was one guy, he was in it for 55 fucking days, living just like in the woods by himself. 55 fucking days. That's a long time. Like just to like be like, yeah, I'm gonna like give up all my shit, go out and do this. And like you don't know if anyone else is going still. You know, you have no idea. Like you'll just like you have to wait it out until you get a call one day and they're like, yeah, you're the last person, you won. And you don't know when that is. Like, isn't that kind of a trip?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I once read about a guy who spent an entire year in the deep woods. So like it was so far into the woods that he had to take a helicopter there. So there was like
Yeah.
nobody to rescue him if he had a medical issue. Uh, he had to rely completely on the supply of food that he brought, but he
Yeah.
enjoyed it. He said he encountered one other human being during that entire time, and
Yeah.
so
That's cool.
it'd be interesting. I mean, it's funny because coming back to society would be like kind of coming back through like a time warp because you would
Oh,
have
totally.
not
Because
that,
you're just like, oh, fuck, like, I forgot about all this shit. Like,
well, I'm kind of living that way now. I mean, I've mostly tuning out the news and I just not
I do not pay attention to the news either. Do
yeah.
not.
My
Like,
my blood pressure's come down as a result.
yeah, right. You know what? You live a lot more of a calmer life when you like take out the fear, and that the fear, like honestly, and that's like what a lot of news is just keeping us fucking on edge, and like you know, it's good to know what's happening, but the way they present it, it's like almost like you have to do something about it. It's like there's nothing we can do though.
I can't do
Like for a lot of people, there's literally nothing that we can do as people to affect this or change this. So it kind of like not only does it like make us fearful, but it also like kind of gives us a feeling of defeat because
helplessness.
it's like and helplessness because I mean really like the world is big.
Well, everybody has problems everywhere in the world. That's a universal thing. So, worry about your own problems,
Oh, dude, there's
problems of
so
people
much
around you.
like, yeah, and it's the thing, like your problems, our problem, like everybody's problems. It's like, once you get past your own individual problems, there's so many other problems. It's like you can't get like everybody's got a problem, and there's no like sometimes there's really no way of fixing it other than having money.
Yeah, exactly. Money could solve some of my problems.
Money like would literally save like so many people's problems. And it's
Yep.
like to me, like these like billionaires like that'll like all that shit, it's like you can't spend that amount of money in your lifetime. What are you doing? I mean, it's cool that you're going to space, but there's a lot of people out here that could use a little bit of like, you know,
Yeah. And for that matter,
help.
how is the colony on Mars going to be sustainable? I don't even know how it's
Well,
going to work.
I guess like that's worth working out. Like maybe they found something.
Well, I mean,
I'll give
how's
them that.
because otherwise it's going to end up like Total Recall, right? Where people can't breathe, they lose all the oxygen, and it's going to take a few years to bring more. So,
Oh man, like you like there's a lot of like trial and error with that. And like I mean luckily there's a lot of people on this planet. I
yeah, totally. Uh,
mean, they were like just talking about those fucking head chips recently. Did you see that?
yeah, it's not part of that's not a
No, it's not
one.
part of it, but I mean, it's a little like, like
No, I'm not going to embrace that technology. That's
I'm not either. I don't need it.
I don't
I'm
need to be a
good.
cyborg. You know what I'm saying?
Like my phone, the thing I carry every goddamn day and need to use because, like, whatever. It fucking, that's bad enough for me.
Yeah, I think that
Not
kind of
gonna have a chip in
maybe
my head.
that technology might be beneficial to maybe people with disabilities who could use it to communicate back and forth with people who have some kind of receiving device. So that's a good
Oh
thing.
man, if there's like, yeah, is there that in there?
Well, it seems like there's potential for it. I mean, if you can transmit things to that chip so you can listen to music or receive your emails or something like that,
Whoa.
and maybe they could use it with people who have like Lou Gehrig's disease so they could process their
Actually,
thoughts.
yeah, that's cool.
But I don't
Okay,
know.
so yeah, so for some things.
Yeah, right. So moving on to my second confession here. The title is Sad Relationship, and there's a sad emoji here.
Aw. Teardrop
Yeah, lately me and my boyfriend is not okay, and
is not.
is not, and until now we're not okay. He hurted me because of a simple thing. I have a problem with my family, and I cried because of a single thing. I texted him that I was crying, and he did not reply to me. And I was deep. I was kind of hurt because I need him that time that I was crying. I need him to lean on, to comfort me, and to give me some advice as he used to be there when I had problems. And then he texted me when I'm already okay. He said he was doing a lot of things because he was a godfather to a baby celebrating today. Um, well, I think she needs to learn to be less codependent. And I mean, his life doesn't stop just because he's in a relationship with her. That's
Yeah.
becoming a godfather to a baby. That's a big event.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, totally. I mean that baby, like honestly, it's gonna get old. That baby's gonna be a baby for a bit, and
yeah,
it's gonna get old. It will. Like he can only go over there so much, and like see this fucking baby of a baby. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and becoming the godparents like a ceremony, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it?
I've never been one.
I mean, I've been told I'm a godparent to some
Oh,
people, like, or I just thought it was a verbal agreement.
well, I guess it is too. I don't know.
I
Um,
don't know. Like maybe you could have legal documents if it was like probably tied to like will stuff, like legal
yeah,
things like that. Because like yeah, being like a godparent to someone really young, if you're really worried some shit's gonna happen to you, like you just fucking you got yourself a fucking another parent for that kid.
Yeah, that's true.
That's usually like the convenient reason for having a godparent.
Yeah, you think your life is in shambles or something.
Or like maybe you got like a fucking life threatening disease that you don't want to tell anybody about. You keep a hush hush. You're just like, you know what? Like, can you please just be my godparent? Whatever. And like you legit fucking spring that shit on them like like an asshole. No, I'm
Well, it
just
should be
kidding.
someone who maybe has more money than you. That might be a good idea.
Yeah, I would plan it out that way. Well, I mean, if you're dying, you got life insurance, hopefully.
Yeah.
Here's my kid and my death money.
But
Sorry about the kid, but here's the money.
they should have asked you first because you don't want to just have someone
Well,
show up.
yeah, like you
You
kind
know?
of have to like say like, look, okay, look, buddy, like that would be the cool thing to do. The white, I always say it's the white thing to do. That would be the white thing to do to be like, look, I might die. I don't know, like it just depends. Things that seem okay, who knows, whatever. I might die. This kid might be your kid, but here's some money. You cool? And they're like, yeah, yeah, all right, you're good. And if it happens, we'll like fucking like y'all are fucking drunk and sniffing cocaine. It don't matter. Like that's still a solid bag.
Yeah, right.
Just kidding.
It, it's a lot. It's a lot to consider, and so you shouldn't expect your boyfriends, to have your boyfriend's entire life revolve around you, because then you're being too clingy, and
Yeah.
you're trying to make him feel bad because he's not there every time something goes wrong in your life, and you should learn to be more independent, a little stronger emotionally. And
Yeah.
if he breaks up with her, she's gonna be a fucking train wreck too. She'll be cutting, she'll be cutting and shit like that because she's just
Well, yeah,
way dependent
definitely.
on
You
it.
don't want that. Like, I mean, go get a tattoo, hopefully, and dye your hair, but don't be cutting. That sucks.
Yeah. Well, it'll be bad because she obviously has made this guy. She's assigned responsibility to this guy for her happiness, for her mental stability, and that's a
Oh,
dangerous thing to do. Obviously,
so like, wait.
maybe, maybe he's also a stickler for good grammar because she's not. That's not her strength either.
I don't know. Like, that's kind of funny though. I mean, like, so like she like he has to like help her out. He's like sort of like her like caretaker in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah, she had some family problems, and he just said he couldn't be there for her because of the Godfather ceremony situation. Um,
Right.
yeah, because yeah, so I mean, there must be someone else she can turn to, like a friend.
Yeah, she needs a backup for sure. Like, cause I mean, like having all that responsibility on one person isn't fair either. Or
Well, yeah,
like having some tools to like help yourself would be good too.
yeah, she's high maintenance, and to put him in the position where he has to like practically like nurse you like you're emotionally like a
Yeah,
baby. I
it's
mean,
hard on people, honestly. Like a grown ass person needs to be able to take care of themselves. So like when you introduce somebody like that, like where you have a huge responsibility to them, you have to be able to instill like some tools that they're gonna have to provide for themselves. Because like like situations like this, because like they can't always be there.
yeah,
It's unfair.
God forbid he make her wait like 20 minutes to return a text. I'll bet that's a big issue
Like
too.
that's a long time. I get like with people with anxiety, like there's a lot of shit. Cause like man, like there's like the more time that passes, the more you're fucking like alone with your thoughts. And you're like if you've got the like, you know, if you got some things going on with your mental state, you can have like racing thoughts. It's like a thing with a lot of women. It's like a lot of women go undiagnosed with ADD, ADHD, whatever, because like men it's outward, but with women it's internal. So like, and
Overthinking and
yeah, and like that can get you. It gives you spirals. It's like really fucked up. Like you
yeah,
end up like giving yourself like depression, giving yourself anxiety, giving yourself these things like because you're like, did I do the thing? You know, like you won't let it rest until you like go and like, you know, like sometimes you're manic about stuff, sometimes you're not. Like sometimes you're just like, you know, you think people hate you too. You're like, what they mean by that?
yeah, that's true too.
Like the tone of their voice was weird.
Or the little thing indicating that they're texting but they're not finished with the message goes on for a really long time.
Yeah, or like sometimes, oh my God, and I've been guilty of this. It's like I've accidentally like I've been in the middle of a text and somebody else has like called me or something like that, and I'm sure like the thing I don't know if the thing still does the dot 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 thing when like shit like that happens, but like I'm legit on a call, and it's like it must bug the person if they're like legit in a conversation with me because they're like dot dot dot, and it's either like dot 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 forever or like dot 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 nothing, and then what happened, and then like I get like sometimes there's like a couple messages and I'm like sorry like, and sometimes if I'm like really unlucky, I'll totally forget about them until like the next day or like I'm
Yeah.
like oh shit, right, I was in the middle of something there.
Yeah.
No, it's terrible. Like sometimes, like I mean, I love like where we're at technology wise, but it kind of sucks at the same time because like it
Well,
fucks with.
yeah, it
Oh, go
enables
ahead.
you to, yeah, it certainly enables you to, yeah, to put these things off and to add, it makes the timing of everything more complicated sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas back before all this, when it was a landline telephone, yeah, there was the option just wasn't there, so you had to keep the conversation going. So,
Oh yeah. Man, remember like party phone and stuff like that? And remember when you could call in and like listen to like I remember being able to listen to like some music over the phone.
oh yeah, and
Yeah.
I knew people who met through like dating phone lines.
Oh yeah, me and my friend would hit that up all the time. Me, my friend Rebecca and Elizabeth, we would like every time we spent the night, we'd like talk to people on there, and then like we met people. We actually met some interesting people through it. And like we could have got stabbed, but like like whatever.
Well,
There's three of us. They're not
I
gonna
knew
fuck with us.
I knew at least two couples who met through one of those. So
Yeah, no,
it
it
seemed
was
to work.
good.
I don't think it exists now. I guess it's just dating apps, but they were
Oh
fun.
man, I think I was watching cable and like legit, it like that ad showed up,
Oh yeah, so they still
but it's a
exist.
different person now. Like it's like
Oh,
different people in the ad,
yeah, okay.
but you can totally talk to people on the phone.
Yeah, I imagine so. Okay, so
I missed one. It was like I'm all alone. Cat got your tongue. It was so
okay.
good. That was in like the fucking. I was like a teenager. You'd see that like sometimes like between Ricky Lake and like
Yeah.
other shit. Sometimes. It depends on if you're watching Rochester, New York or not. I think.
Oh yeah, right.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn now. Yep.
Alright. This one is terrible and anyway, I'm gonna go for it. Incredible peeing fetish. I am just a 30-year-old girl who is addicted to peeing in my pants. I've always peed where I shouldn't, purposely peed in bed all through childhood and still do to this day. During the day, I drink a lot of water or soda and hold the pee until I simply have to give up and just let it flow. It usually happens. Usually like I like the English that these people use. It's good.
Yeah.
I want to edit it. My OCD is like Okay.
That's
um. Where was I? Okay. It usually happens in the early afternoon. I will literally just pee anywhere. I just let go. I literally can't hold it anymore. Once I get home, I pee anytime and anywhere in the house, right in my jeans. I pee on the sofa, you name it. I hold and just have to let it rip. I found a wonderful wife who is fully into my pee. See, I thought it was a woman
yeah, me
until
too.
that point. I really did. Like, and when I read this before, and I was like, really? Because I still was like, oh yeah, for the second time reading it. Oh my god, right, it's a dude.
Yeah.
Surprise number two. Okay, let's see. I found a wonderful wife who is fully into my pee fetish and totally supports my peeing all over. We also both pee on each other as part of sex. Neither of us can really orgasm without peeing in bed. Yes, it absolutely stinks. Ugh.
Yeah.
But it's truly amazing what you can get used.
Get used to.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I
would. I would.
change. Yes, I change jeans a few times a day, but sometimes I decide to repeat, repeat my pants, and it's all 100% worth the trouble.
So I guess they must have like a separate set of clothing that they just let dry out and they wear it over and over again.
Okay, I
Yeah.
guess I would have a few suggestions because it sounds like they probably would like buy a lot of furniture and things like that. Since they're
Well,
into that stuff, you should just like go in the shower for most of it. Cause like,
yeah.
come on now, like that's like the best. You just close the curtain, you can go buck wild. I guess it makes the most sense to me logistically. And then say you got, I don't know, diapers for some things. I know some people are in a diaper play, but like it kind of is. Um, I don't know. It's gonna save your cushions and washing and the environment, I guess. Like,
Yeah. Well, holding your urine in all day long,
oh man, the UTIs,
that's gonna damage
UTIs.
his
I like
bladder.
that. That's why I was like, oh my god, I'm concerned for this woman, but it's a dude, so like, I don't know
Well,
how
yeah, he
that
could
works
probably
for a
get that.
guy.
He could probably end up with that problem too. But I guess if he can't control his bladder, that's not gonna bother him that much.
I
So,
guess not. Like, it'll still be like whatever. Like, this is just another day in my fucking life
well,
as a peer.
my mother, my mother worked in a restaurant for several years, and she was disabled. The only bathroom was on the second floor, so she couldn't get to it, and so
Oh, that's tough.
she had to hold it in all those years, and now it damaged her urinary tract, and
Yeah.
she has to wear diapers and stuff. So I
Fuck.
don't recommend holding in your urine all day long because it could damage it. It can do some serious damage. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I've heard these things because like I am kind of prone to like UTIs and things like that. Things are sensitive, we'll say. Like I
are
can't just like
women
what?
more vulnerable to that than men? UTIs?
Yeah, oh totally. Because like sometimes with us, it's like if say like that whole thing that we just talked about, like you hold your pee, you have that sort of weird ass thing that you do. That's one thing. If you accidentally put on a dirty pair of underwear, instant fucking urinary tract infection.
Oh,
If you forget to go pee after sex, sometimes people get that. Sometimes if people buy the wrong fabric for underwear, they'll get a UTI from that. It's like it really depends. Like, but usually it's a sexually kind of like it's more sex related than anything. Not clean genitals, pushing things. Like basically it's like pushing debris up your urethra. So when you're having sex, it makes more sense because it's got that motion already.
oh yeah,
It's being jammed that way. So it can happen.
aggressive
But
too. Yeah.
but I mean, sometimes like some women are so sensitive that a certain fabric will just set them off.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. A little lesson in ladies' vajayjays.
Yeah, I didn't know that some women were that.
Oh man, there's like a pH balance. We're like pools down there, essentially. We
Yeah, I
got
guess so.
pH balance shit. Like,
It's a very high maintenance organ, isn't it? Yeah.
well, I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, we just gotta take care of it. We gotta know how to do that. It's hygiene. It's basic hygiene.
Can you imagine
And
what it
like,
must have been like for women like 400 years ago? There was no.
okay, so like, there's an interesting when we go back to like things like that, because like, when I go back to like say ancient Egyptian stuff, um, it was said that Cleopatra did like she or somebody like there was like a an ancient thing where they like did aphrodisiac kind of stuff, like they would like drench like um oranges and things like that like in their like pheromones, and they believed like the armpit was like a good place for that. I mean, you could put it in your pussy, but I would assume that a citrus thing in your pussy would like be a learned thing like right away. Like we do not do this anymore.
Well,
It is not.
lemon is a good disinfectant, but it might also burn. Yeah.
What's that?
Lemon is a good disinfectant, but then on the
Oh
other
yeah,
hand,
no, it would not be good down there. No, that's a little too strong. That's a
yeah,
little too much.
yeah. Well,
It
you know,
would pucker all them lips. I
oh yeah, for sure. Have you ever eaten like fresh pineapple, like taken right,
love fresh pineapple and
but
like
but the acid is so strong, like
it
it
is.
like you can feel it like fucking eating away at your mouth. That's the only thing.
Oh, it's so good though. Like I
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
I hate that part, but it's just like oh, it's so juicy,
yeah, it is.
yummy.
All right, so I'm gonna go on to my last confession here.
Yeah, because
But the
we're
title
making good time. Like
we
this
are
is
title is I'm a 29-year-old guy. I was at the airport and the other day and found myself looking at a female who was probably only about 19. She was so good looking. I know she isn't underaged, but I still feel kind of dirty about it. I do like younger women, but I feel bad that she was so young and I'm so old. Well, I don't think 29 is that old. I mean, when I was 29, I thought it was old, but I don't think it's old now. Uh,
no.
but I mean, society's drawn this line in the sand saying, you can't have sex with girls under 18. But there are a lot of people who seem to think like if a man is a certain age and then he shouldn't be carousing with girls that age, like that's immoral. But that doesn't count as pedophilia. I mean, they're adults. I don't know what they're going to find to talk about. I don't know how the relationship would be sustainable. But if that's not what they're out for, if they just want to have sex, then that's not going to be a problem. But I don't think there's any reason to feel dirty about it if she's, of age and the relations are consensual. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, like I don't know, like
I mean, it's kind of nature doing what nature does. I mean,
it's
men are
true.
men are generally attracted to younger women because
Yeah, I
or
mean,
so
it's kind of funny like how
like
that works. So like, I mean, like, and there's like, again, it's like almost this dynamic. I was gonna say like, it's like the Mrs. Robinson dynamic where it's like the women like you get the women like the cougar Mrs. Robinson thing, and men they're like fucking Hugh Hefner.
yeah,
You
right.
know, like you kind of have that like weird ass dynamic where it's like, but it's also kind of like it's looking more and more not okay with the guys, but no one's really looking at the like Mrs. Robinsons, you know?
Well, I have to say, if there were like, say there's like four men and their wives, and they're all in their 40s, and then you have this one girl there who's like 19, and she's like,
Oh
when
man,
you're 19, you're still kind of a teenager when you're that old. That would
yeah, it's a
that would
little
be a
too young.
that would be a weird kind of clash, for her to sit there and be surrounded by these older people. And so, but there are guys who date them, guys who are involved with strip clubs or go there all the time and
Yeah.
try to date strippers. That sometimes happens.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I once knew a guy who was dating a stripper. I don't know. I don't think it went very far, but he was definitely trying to make that happen for sure.
Oh, and like it's so funny. Like a lot of people are so like bad at that. Like they just like they don't realize like this is their job. You have to like actually like really make sure like legit nail down and make sure that this is like not part of the job.
Yeah,
Because like people like fucking will get like so laid out financially.
oh yeah, there are a lot of these guys who think that they and the stripper have a connection, a real
I
connection.
know.
No,
And
she's
they'll
an
visit them
actress.
for like months, years and shit. Like they'll go there
Oh
every
yeah,
like every day and be like, yeah, me and like fucking Stephanie,
Paradise,
like well not Stephanie,
Paradise,
Jennifer. I'm
Destin.
picking all the wrong names. Destiny.
Well, you could use Valencia Van Dark if you were to dance.
Oh,
There-
totally. I
there-
would use that or just like Von Dark and like be some weirdo. Like I don't know.
I don't know if there's such a thing as like an alternative strip club, but that must
Oh, there are. There's like you can just be whatever you want, really, as long as you're fucking hot.
yeah.
Like as long as like somebody fucking is into your shit, and everybody's into like everybody's shit, really. Like when you think about it, there's like all kinds of fetishes. There's like everything is a fetish. So like you could actually kind of like make it no matter what, so long as you can put yourself together and move your shit around a little sexy.
Burlesque is there's no nudity in that, right?
Well, no, you're like pasties and a J string. That's like general rule of thumb. I don't know if the rules have changed since, but like pasties and a G string. That
Oh
was what you could go down to. But strippers, especially out here, we could do fully nude.
yeah.
And
How many strip clubs are in Halifax?
none.
None.
Absolutely fucking zero, and I hate
Oh,
it. We
interesting.
used to have Ralph's and Sensations, and Ralph's shut down like a few years before COVID or something like that. I can't remember.
Because on the Trailer Park Boys, there are a couple scenes where they went to strip club.
Sensations. They were
Really?
like I was watching it again, and I was like, "That's Sensations."
Oh, well,
Yeah, that's fucking
strip club go.
Sensations.
It's pretty rare when strip clubs go out of business unless they're really terrible. And I did go to a really
Man, it was so good. I went to that place like once, but it was a memorable night. So like I went there and like I was just like this is a bomb place. Like it's actually set up really good. Like people are kind of friendly. Like it's big because Ralph's is kind of small, but
and
yeah.
the money you make from that kind of enterprise is pretty substantial. Like,
Yeah, it's
got
just people are so fucking conservative here. It's like it's actually
yeah,
politics that like fucking comes into play.
there's a door
It's
charge, and
oh, there's door charges
drinks are
everywhere.
the drinks are crazy expensive and they're watered down. And
Well, yeah, it depends on if you're friends with the staff.
yeah,
And
well,
like
yeah,
I was friends
uh,
with the staff at
oh
fucking
yeah,
Ralph's.
because you're not allowed to just nurse a one drink either. You're
Oh no, man, like
I
they
want
let me do whatever. I could like I hung out with the girls. I tattooed the girls
oh,
at
you did.
Ralph's. Like some of them, yeah. Like that was way
Uh,
back. That was early 2000s though.
and they got to pay the club in order to dance there. So
Yeah, like but they only get like a percentage. Like as long as they like make like you know a good like mint, they can swing it.
well, that's where all the lap dance money goes. That's them. That's their money. When what they make.
Yeah, and it depends like if you're out of town or in town.
The funny thing is, it actually works the same way as hairdressing. You're renting the facility, and the people pay you directly, and that's so yeah. Those two jobs are similar in that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
No,
how
they
it works?
are.
Is that how it works with tattooing, or do you have to pay to work there and then take what's your
No, I just get like it's like usually a 50-50 split, and in some cases, if you're lucky, you get a 60-40 split. And when I've done some, not all, guest spots, but some guest spots have given me a 70-30. Like I actually made 70%, which was fucking sick.
mm,
But that's the best you can do.
guest spots, huh? Like you,
Well, yeah, not all guest spots give you that, but like, yeah, you can totally get mint, but like usually you kind of work out something. Like if you have all your own supplies, you can usually make the most. Sometimes like if you're like real good friends with like whomever, they'll be like, okay, like you can just totally like come here do some shit and I'll provide you with stuff because like traveling with ink is a bitch. Sometimes that shit explodes, makes a huge
really?
mess. So and sometimes like I mean being a person that looks like I do, you get like flagged usually most times when you go through the airport.
Hmm.
And then you have to sit there and explain what the fuck you're doing with these things. So it's the less you have, the better.
Yeah, I guess the air pressure in the plane probably affects them
Oh
too.
man, it's like yeah, it doesn't work out well most of
So
the time. I've had like shit ruined before.
you should be allowed to like do just very basic tattoos at the Buskers Festival, Nothing big like a back tattoo, but like a trans.
Well yeah, I mean you'd have to have a decent like tent, like something that was actually pretty sealed up. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
you
At
can't.
the buskers would be good, but I mean like just with the wind and shit like that, like
Oh, would it affect? Oh, wait, it would affect the ink.
well no, it's just like you could get shit blown in there. It's not very
Oh,
sanitary.
yeah,
So
okay. Infections and shit. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think we just blew our wad. I think that wasn't bad.
yay.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us once again, all listeners, and you as well, Valencia Von Dark. That's a cool name. That should be
I
used.
just go with Von Dark for this, just
Oh,
because like it's shorter, but like yeah, the Valencia thing that's like my model name. One of my friends like his name is shit. I just had it. I hate that. Anyway, he gave me the name. He did like a little photo shoot with me. He's like, and I was trying to come up with a name. He was like, Valencia. Like I heard it once in a video game, and I don't know what video game it is, but like I was like, cool.
that'd be
I
like
like that.
that'd be a good name for like a Disney villain, like a female Disney villain.
Right?
Yeah, like along the lines of Cruella de Vil.
Oh, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Have you ever thought about acting before? Because I noticed in your mod.
Man, yes.
This is,
And like I've thought about it a lot, but like I'm not sure. Like I mean, I would give it a real serious go. I would. I want to do stand-up comedy. That's like my first like bucket listy thing is like I want to do that. But I've really like I have too many outlets. So like I actually like I want to do, a lot of stuff that kind of involves like just like spewing my creativeness out there, like
Well,
writing and music, but also writing some like, some screenplay type stuff or a book,
well, I mean,
like
you have a great voice. The camera loves you, and I thought maybe
people people talk about my voice and I like literally like I won't listen to myself most of the time. I will not. I'm
no,
just
it's a
like
great voice. Well, it's the same with me, I guess. People pay these compliments, and it's what some psychologists call imposter syndrome, where you have some kind of special skill, or maybe you've done something great, but
yeah.
you fail to see how great. In fact, Paul McCartney had that until just a few months ago. A few years ago. Can you
That's
believe that?
weird.
He was a fucking Beatle and hugely
Yeah.
successful, and yet he just didn't see what the fuss was all about. But I guess it's
Yeah,
that.
no, I feel that same way about like a lot of people. I'm like, like you're destined to do good things, and I like encourage them. I'm like, no, you need to like try to do the thing. Please try to do the thing. It's never too late to do the thing. And
Yeah, that's
like
right.
when like you reached out about this like podcast stuff, I was just like, you know what? That's like a real good way for me to like kind of get out there and used to like sort of like warming up to like talking in front of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like essentially we're talking in front of people, not yet, but people are gonna be listening to it.
Well,
So essentially,
I came up with the idea of getting you to star in the movie I was going to make about Krista.
oh yeah, I think I would be a good like side person and like creative director. I would totally do creative directing. Like somebody else has to do Krista, but I'd have to like kind
Yeah.
of like
Well, you don't have
help
to play.
creatively direct them.
Well, I actually, well, if I'm never able to get any writing
Oh
sessions,
yeah, we were gonna do like the graphic novel.
yeah, there's that. But I also came up with the idea, like, if I can't make a movie about her, then just rewrite it to make it into a fictional character, but based on some elements of her life.
Yeah,
Play that character, and I would shoot it on no money using like an iPad, and I have clip-on mics and
nice.
making most
Yeah,
make,
there's ways that we can do it, and it actually might like turn out really good. It might turn out like
yeah,
pretty raw and
do
like
everybody's music. You could do everybody's makeup and stuff, and
that'd be fun. You know, I honestly I like doing that. Like when I was 16, I was like right into like I wanted to do music videos when I was
yeah,
16. That was my thing. I was like I like loved Floria Segismondi and she was like my favoriteest like director in the world. I loved her for like ever. And like was into that for a bit. There's a place called Af Hoop out here. Like that's I don't know if it's still around, but it was a like voluntary thing. Like if you like put in the time or like paid into courses and stuff, you could learn like stuff about filming. But like this is when I was 16. So
yeah,
it was like a while back there and we were using some fucking crappy shit. Like well not crap it was old. It's good but like, essentially I was doing all this so that I could like rent out, hopefully at some point, rent out this equipment. But I never really completed my hours because like, I mean, as a teenager, you're kind of like wrought with a lot of decisions. You're like, do I have a social life? Do I like, you know, do I continue this? And like sometimes when like if your parents take too much notice in it, you're like, oh, I'm like losing my like steam on that one. But I still like have a like love for directing and not directing, but like I don't know, like all that stuff, like the creative aspect and like you remember back in the day when they'd do like old horror movies and like honestly like they just like it would be like fucking spaghettios for like intestines and like
yeah.
they'd be like they'd make all their like sets and shit like that. I loved that more I think than what we've got going on now.
All that with CGI and all that.
I love that. Like, it's good. Like, but it's like, I love this, like, organic shit because it's grosser, it's creepier.
Yeah, I know what you're
It's
saying.
always nastier and, like, like,
Oh, well, one tip is that if you want to create fake puke, you take cream corn and mix it with like ketchup, stir it around.
ew.
Oh, and also, yeah, because John Waters, the director, he had a person who was that he called an ugly expert. He said, film them in direct sunlight, get them to eat a bag of chips so that their teeth are covered in like tartar.
Oh, gross.
Those all these tricks to make people look hideous, and they're
Nice.
good at it too. Yeah.
That's dope. I like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much again, and
Yeah.
have yourself a great weekend.
Great.
Yeah.
You too.
All right. Take care.
You as well. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.